Well, hello, viewers. Welcome again to this broadcast from the Mint Mesh desk. With me is Anish and Ajay as the figures that you see every week. And we also have the mystery guest, and I don't want to steal Anish's thunder here. He's going to introduce our special guest today, a very distinguished member of the technology and business community in the Middle East. And with that, let me hand it over to Anish. Go ahead.
Thank you, Sunil. And yes, good morning, folks. From a chilly Detroit, it is freaking cold this week. So we're all hunkered indoors, not even stepping out unless it's necessary. But yeah, we're all trying to stay warm and survive. And talking about warmth, we have a very special friend with us, Parag Bhadra, who is joined us today. And he is one of our strategic preferred partners in Middle East from Algonym Technologies, who is helping us, reach out and grow the importance of Rudy as a artificial intelligence solution. And he has a very unique perspective, given that he has been in industry for eons and eons of years. He can touch base upon a few aspects from an owner operator perspective of how Rudy as a solution, artificial intelligence solution for sourcing, fits into the bigger scheme of things. And I mean, you guys have been following us, so it's an artificial intelligence solution. It fits into your process. It assists engineers accelerate their work around technical bid evaluations, comparing drawings, comparing supplier responses, and all that good stuff, right? You have been following us, and you know that we do not require any data entry. It's upload, and then Rudy does a lot of magical things in the background, right? That is why it looks so simple. Parag's perspective is, I think, something very interesting for us, and we all would love to hear from him. So, Parag, tell us where you are from, where do you live these days, and jump right in.
Thank you so much, Anish, for that wonderful segue into the stream. And thanks, Sunil. Hi, Ajay. Good to be with you guys. Anish mentioning about the cold in Detroit makes us a bit jealous, because I think just from today, Dubai has gone up the temperature curve. The winter is kind of over. So instead of saying winter is coming, we have to say now the winter is going. But thanks for having me on this. Yeah, it's lovely to talk to everybody about what we have been doing and looking at in terms of the solution for what we have in terms of bid evaluations from the technical perspective. So I've been looking at various aspects, especially from a ERP as a process within these organizations. Large asset intensive organizations is where I've been mostly focused on. So from that context, what we see when we look at the processes that go into running these large assets, and I'm talking about assets, it could be utilities having power plants and distribution networks. It could be oil and gas companies with large facilities. It could be even fertilizer plants, etc. So the idea is that we are talking about large equipments and machineries operating within the industries. And as I was mentioning, of course, Rudy is something which works very well in the EPC kind of scenario. And looking at it from owner operator's perspective is also another good area. So a distinct difference between owner operator and EPC is usually the fact that for the owner operators, their primary importance is there to run the assets, compared to EPCs, because for them the assets have to keep running continuously to do the job that they are supposed to do. You can't have plant stoppages. You need to have a very smoothly functioning set of equipments and plants. So from that context, what happens is the procurement cycle is something which has to be very conscious about the stuff that is being procured, that it has to match everything, the specifications, it has to be the best quality, and it also has to be on a very efficient price. You can't really let your operating costs go high because of that. So having said that, now if I look at it from how Rudy helps in that is in terms of making this process. This is a process which they don't want to really do. For them, the most important thing is to run the plant, get the stuff working, and keep everything running smoothly. Now, procurement is something which has to be done for getting the equipment as soon as it can be brought in, and of course, if it is projects, also on time. So their purchases are usually in bulk in terms of stocking the materials in time. So when you're trying to address that, and the evaluation is being done, especially when the owner operators are doing it, they have to be conscious about getting the specs right, just like EPCs, but they also have to be conscious about getting the plant working in time. So they have to keep do the cycle fast, and that's where Rudy is going to help, because they can't really be very relaxed about it, and let people keep on doing the evaluation. The discipline engineers play a lot of important role, because usually the procurement guys would be a very thin layer who just does a kind of coordination job. They just get the specs, send it out as a package or bulk to the usually regular vendors, and then try to get it sorted out. So evaluation, if it can be done by somebody or something, which is Rudy I'm talking about, that becomes a very good way to sort it out. And that's where the key element of artificial intelligence to do the work, which usually would have been a set of people doing it, that brings in a lot of benefit. So this is one thing which I would suggest is for the community here to really look into it from this benefit. The other aspect that is also important, and this is something which is probably true for most industries, whether it is EPCs, whether it is your owner operators, it could be even small companies which are running their individual factories, or some of those level. So for them, most of the guys here, it's a mature industry. Most of the people would have already invested in a set of tools. Usually ERPs are around, I would say, it's probably a 50-50 split between SAP and Maximo for their CMMS, for their maintenance management and asset management. And of course, I think your Oracle is there as a ERP for most of the people. So what I was trying to say is, now if you look at how these map to the overall steps in the process, you will see that one of the elements in between, which is Rudy is filling in, is the technical bid evaluation. Having said that, because I have as a company, if I have SAP, which is handling my maintenance management function, which is handling my procurement function, right? So Rudy has to actually is doing the work which is currently I would say manual intensive, because it requires a lot of human intelligence and coordination. So that job, if we are doing it through Rudy, so what becomes essential is that Rudy has to fit into that piece, in between, where material request, which is usually generated or processed within the asset management system. It could be Maximo, it could be SAP. So that material request has to be brought into Rudy, you know, run within Rudy, and that output, which is essentially the comparison in terms of the specifications, has to be then pushed back into the existing tool set. It could be SAP, it could be Maximo, etc., so that the experience is seamless for somebody who has been running SAP or Maximo for a long time. To the extent, I would say that for some of the long timers who are there, they may not even like to see a different screen in between. If it can be stuff running in the back end, which is being done by the magic of Rudy, it becomes a very I would say a very good way for them to adapt their existing process to this new technology. So and sometimes I can tell you, even from a user perspective, it becomes a very anything new. Again, I have to look at something as a new tool. I have to learn about it. There might be some glitches, etc. That kind of feeling comes in. So if I say that, look, you continue doing whatever you were doing, except that one step in between where you had to get out of SAP, take the information, put together in Excel charts and things like that, and then feed that back into your Maximo. That, okay, this is my comparison set, and then I have to do a procurement out of it. If I can take those steps away and put it as a seamless experience, that would be something which uh, enhances that experience, instead of me trying to log in into another system and then trying to run it. These are a couple of things which I think we are probably. So the first one is more from a fitting the market kind of uh, thought process, that okay, EPC is a market, but owner operators is a market which has a slightly different way of I would say a kind of philosophy of running the operations. So that is, and the other is about how technically we can look at it from a user experience, where we make it already it is enhancing my life. If I am somebody who is responsible for that procurement process, and this step, which used to be a very cumbersome and a lot of stuff which I have to do on a almost manual basis, that goes away. Fine, it is enhancing, but as I want more, right? And if I can make it a seamless background experience, sometimes the adoption becomes much easier, because then the guys who would probably have a little bit of resistance to it may not even come to know. It just becomes a back end thing which is happening, which people aren't just aware of. So yeah, I mean, this is something which I think we should look at and see how we can adapt to it.
Yeah, sounds great. No, that's a very good perspective. And I think one important thing that you mentioned, which is a design principle, right? From a technology perspective, from a design perspective for us is, as much as minimal data entry required from an engineer. We really do not want engineers to now use another solution, enter some more data, right? So we are saying, look, guys, like you said, Parag, we'll fit right into your process, and we will use your existing data, either from systems or from documents, wherever we can pull that out from, and we will try to make it as seamless as possible, and provide value through that process, to our users. And I think that's a design principle. That is how we have grown. And Ajay can talk about this a little bit as well, that we are building our features, we are adding more and more value to our solution, completely based on what our clients are asking us for. And I think it's not that you build it and people will come and use it. It's completely the other way around. And Ajay's team is amazingly agile. We can do so many things from a technology perspective. And I think we're truly in the knowledge engineering space, I believe, right, Ajay? I mean, I know you guys are doing a lot of work in the knowledge. I mean, we all are in the knowledge engineering space with this AI.
Absolutely right. From a from a classification or where do we fit in, right? Market fit is one, right? But from a technology standpoint, where we really want to invest is in this area, right? Where we can use the knowledge that human beings as we have, like the engineers have a lot of knowledge about the items being procured and things like that. If we are able to train the machine and make them understand and how to decipher the data, it adds tremendous value to the operations, right? Like what Parag was saying, right? And having connections with people like Parag and talk to them and understand the process makes us more and more aware of what needs to be done within the system, right? So our continuous investment would be on this, enhancing the knowledge of Rudy in the engineering space, right? And that's the area that we want to play with, and I think that is the area that we would be marching towards in not just with respect to EPC or owner operator, but in multiple fields, right? Knowledge engineering is the area to go with, where we actually apply the AI part of it, right? So exactly, we continuously invest and innovate in that area, and look forward to working with you, Parag, in the Middle East. A lot of great inputs from there, which is helping us to mature the product to the next level, where we can take it beyond EPC and probably be adding value to the owner operator, the business segment that we want to target after EPCs. Excellent. All right. So Sunil,
I think we covered everything that we wanted to, Sunil. So yeah,
this is great. And once again, Prague, thanks. I know, and enjoy the summer there. We are shivering here in the cold in Detroit. so it's anyway. Have a good day, and good night, folks. And thanks for watching us once again this week. We will see you again next week with something new. Bye now.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.